It's interesting. They had another study that came out, and we talk about this all the time because the left loves to say this. And you know what? I will say the right likes to say it a lot too, which is that wages have stagnated.
Jeez.
And you look at this, and there's a lot of reasons why it's not true. Wages haven't really stagnated. There are different things that have happened as far as more employers now spend more on healthcare. And so the money coming to you has gone up quite a bit. It's just that progressives have pushed for policies in which your employer makes your decisions for what you spend your money on instead of you. Oh, well, you should have all these things covered because you're too dumb and might not buy those things if you're not forced to. Mm-hmm. And that's what progressives do on both sides. Because Republicans love that stat too. They say, look, it's a good way of saying when someone else is in control, well, look, things might seem like it's good now, but wages have stagnated since 1989.
Yeah, all the jobs that are being created are bad ones.
Right, exactly. Now, of course, it's not true for a bunch of reasons, but why would it even matter, right? Let's just say this world happens where all wages stagnate and you make the same amount of money for the rest of your life, but everything continually gets cheaper. So you have more money to spend on other things. That's a good world, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't. What does a number matter? The number doesn't matter. It's what can you do with a number. Right. So there's a new study out about consumption poverty. Now this is different than income, right? So income is how much money do you have, and you start. There's a scale of how much leads to poverty. But what about things that are actually important? What are you spending money on? All of these are down by 20% to 80%, between 20 and 80% since 1989. Now, where wages are relatively, they go up and down a little bit, but they haven't gone up per se for people in the poverty regions, the poorest 20% of Americans. But do you have a dishwasher in your house? That's dropped by between 20 and 80%. A clothes dryer. Again, this is people who don't have one. So more people.
So the amount of people who don't have them has dropped.
Yes. Sorry if I misstated that. Yes. Do you not have a clothes washer? That has dropped between 20 and 80% if you don't have one. Do you have no air conditioning? Those houses. Again, this is among the 20% poorest families in America.
Yeah.
Now, no air conditioning has dropped. Large section of peeling paint on their home has dropped. How about a water leak from outside the house? Dropped. Water leak from inside the house? Dropped. All of them between 20 and 80%, again, since about 1990. So even poor, and we've gone through the stats before of, air conditioning, TV, microwave,
phones, even mobile phones, cell phones,
multiple cars, cell phones, tablets. These are all things that now hit
TV.
50, 60, 90, almost 100% of our poor.
Things that will be luxury items to the rest of the world.
Items that you couldn't even buy if you were the richest person in the world 30 years ago. A tablet, you couldn't buy it if you were Bill Gates. Right? Bill Gates had to go through a whole thing of building an entire company, get that rich, and then even after that, he couldn't invent one better than somebody else. I mean, that is incredible.